Hello, hello, and welcome everybody back to Fallout Asia. We are here today after a ridiculously long hiatus. My apologies to everybody in our community as well as to the players. Life happens and things are crazy, but we are finally back and we are going to be able to see what the heck is going on with the Sun Moon Lake Resort as our intrepid adventurers make their way into the ruins. I'm going to have our players do their intros, introduce yourself and who you are playing, and then I'm going to have our player here, Stinkpaw, do their recap so we can get back up to speed for our game. So let's start off with Mark. Go ahead, Mark.
Captain Mark 87 on Discord, playing the I'm mysterious Sean Dalton in this game, Fallout on your Fridays. I'm in Capricious is Saturday Cyberpunk game as well. We'll be resuming that tomorrow. You can also find me over at twitch.tv/Heroes in Theory on Sunday nights for D&D. Think of anything else? No, that'll be it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.
Awesome, thank you. Raven, go for it.
Hi, I'll be playing Camacho, your Merc survivor. You can find me all over the internet at Doña Teresa Cuervo. Thank you.
Thank you much. Johnny, go for it.
I'm Johnny Drop, and that's what you can find me on over in the Cybernation Uncensored Discord. You can find me here every Friday and Saturday night. Tonight I'll be playing Minsky, the quirky little nurse handy bot. And if you'd like, you can also go check out my SoundCloud at Arxon.
Awesome, thank you much. Logar, go for it.
Hey, I'm Logar the Ogar. I play a Merc survivor named Val Jacobs. He is an American stuck in post-apocalyptic Taiwan. You can find me at twitch.tv/Logar the Ogar, twitter.com/Logar the Ogar, and you can also find an Instagram for me and my cat at Twig and Logar. Yeah.
All right, if you can drop me that link, I can add that into our streaming links. Just pop it over on Discord, and I can get that in a little bit. And Tracy, go for it.
I'm Tracy. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and Discord as StinkPalm007. And I am playing Dr. Hojian Yu, the eccentric scientist who travels the waste with his Brahmin, the cutest Brahmin. Yeah, super excited about today. So, yeah, let's get to it.
All right, thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm actually gonna clear out our queue on here. I'm gonna return back some points to a couple of players who did not get their pointless random things from our last game, and clear this out so we can prep for our upcoming -2s and +2s. Don't forget that inside of Twitch, you have our cyber coins, and you can do tons and tons of stuff to interact with our players here. Giving them a +2 on their next roll will make things a little bit more difficult. Giving them a -2 will give them a little bit of a boost in achieving their rolls. If you want to do something pointless and random, we get plenty of those, and it always adds a little bit of fun to the game. You can give our players a chance to deliver critical injuries, introduce NPCs, introduce phone calls or holotapes, and even give negative and positive plot twists. Feel free to drop those in on there. And our players, as they know, if you guys want to use your own channel points, you can always feel free to do so, but they can only apply to other players and not for yourself. Now, with that out of the way, I am GM Capricious Nature. I am here with our group for the Fallout Asia, and I also run our Cyberpunk Goes Nomad campaign every single Saturday U.S. time. I'm going to drop in my links on here. You guys can check out all of our different wonderful things, including our players' links. We have supplements over at Cybernation Uncensored. I have all of my perchance generators that I use for stream up on Reddit. And you can find our music providers over on baseaperecords.com for Base Ape, as well as over at Bandcamp for 1,000 Reasons, our second music provider. We are back here for Fallout 2D20, and I'm going to let our player, let me switch over to player names. There we go. I'm going to let our player Jianyu give his recap from last session. So go ahead and get our viewers up to date.
All right. Journal of Dr. He Jianyu. Monday, October 20th, 2110. Day 1967. After seeing the smoke rising from the resort area, we decided to divert off the main road and up the mountain in order to collect some intel before heading into the ruins. Unfortunately, the wind kicked up, which made it difficult to travel, especially for Minsky. Minsky's thrusters kept sputtering and swaying, which sent Minsky all over the place. At the top, the wind was so bad that Minsky's eye stalks were flailing like the arms of an inflatable tube man. "Oh, pardon me, Val, I did not intend to impact you with my eye." I heard Minsky say, "Between the wind and Minsky's help, we were unable to pinpoint the source of the smoke." By this time, we only had a couple hours left in the day and decided it's best to scavenge a little and make camp in the homestay near the top. First, we started at Rainbow Containers, a beautiful motel made of cargo containers painted in the colors of the rainbow. Minsky found himself a wonderful purple cane. I wonder if that'll help him steady himself in the winds. Sean offered to watch Dynamo so I could search as long as she doesn't shit on my shoes. The second I turned my back, Dynamo defecated on Sean's feet. He was quite displeased that the fertilizer was running and got inside his shoes. The Tatos must have disagreed with Dynamo as well. Then we moved up the way to the family store, and Val insists on searching near the collapsed building. I'm surprised it didn't fall down around him. But Val came out with some Blamco and an impressive gold bag of ramen. At the homestay, we found an unfortunate clerk who opted out of the apocalypse. It appears he'd been subsisting entirely on sugar bombs. Now Val keeps going on and on about how wonderful it'd be to eat nothing but sugar bombs and the occasional fancy lead. I don't know how Americans can stand eating so much sugar. In the end, we found some food, drink, weapons, ammo, and even armor. Overall, Camacho was the most fortuitous of our group. She found a full suit of security armor and a working holotape player. If we can find some holotapes, maybe Camacho will let me record my journals on a new player. On top of that, Camacho found some of the sugar bombs that Val's all so desperate for.
So that is our recap from our previous session. Things were getting a little bit crazy prior. We had fights that they dealt with, and they made their way all the way up to a nice little area where they got some respite. They were able to get away from the explosions and the dogs for at least one night. And where we left off was each of our wonderful explorers made their way into the homestay. They started heading up into the rooms, and they finally got some rest on some pretty well-preserved mattresses that were left over from pre-war, and they were able to get a full night's sleep. Now, as the day dawned and the morning opened up, our explorers noticed that there was something amiss. Jianyu was no longer in the shared room that he had with a couple of the others, and there was a mysterious black streak, some kind of viscous trail that exited out from a corner of one of the rooms down into the hallway and down the stairs. Now our players wake up to this. They have no idea where Jianyu is, but we do open up on Jianyu. Where are you at, and what are you doing?
You find Jianyu sitting by himself out in front of the homestay. The sun is barely peeking over the horizon. He sits quietly with a peach-shaped pastry in front of him and a burning stick of incense stuck in the ground next to it. Jianyu is eating a second pastry and drinking some tea while watching the sun rise over the lake. After a bit, he stands up and quietly says, "I will see you again," and then walks away. Written in the dirt in front of the pastry is, "Happy 214th birthday, Humiya."
Right. So we have Jianyu chilling outside, wishing somebody a very happy birthday. Very oddly numbered birthday, 214. But he is sitting alone, and as the sun is starting to peek over the horizon, as I said, our other players are waking up, and they see this drag mark coming out of one of the rooms, from a corner to the center of the room, down the hallway, and towards the stairs. With our players here, Sean, Camacho, Minsky, and Val, the four of you have woken up. You're on the second floor of the homestay. If you recall, the third and fourth floor had collapsed in, so only the first and second were available to you guys. But what do all of you do?
So the drag mark wasn't there when we went to sleep.
No, you did not see that before
Okay.
you went to bed.
I guess Val would inspect the drag mark?
All right. Go ahead and let's make our very first roll of the game. I'm gonna crack my book open here. Still super happy about getting the shipment in. Thank you very much, Modifius, for the timely delivery. And let's pull this up. What I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you use, let's see, perception and survival. I'll have you do perception, survival.
Perception, survival.
Yep. Ooh, we got a 20 and 10.
I just got here.
Just starting up our stream, and we already have a critical failure. By the way, I'm updating the in-game date. It is now October 21st. So you have a choice to make right here. You can stick and stay with that roll, or you can use luck. You can try to re-roll your dice, but you have to accept the re-roll.
It's early to use luck, and I have so little of it. Yeah, I'll use it because I don't want to like throw up or something.
All right, go ahead and re-roll 1d20 and subtract a luck. All right, so we have an 11 and a 10. Your DV was a 1 on this, and the number to match was a 9. So we got no successes on that. You kind of get out of the bed, walk over, and just kind of look at it, and you're just like, huh, a black smear on the floor. No idea what the hell that is.
Well, I'll go do something else.
Nothing to worry about here, folks. What are the rest of you doing?
Probably drawing my gun and following the trail.
All right. Go ahead and do the same for me. Give me a perception survival.
Well, I do want to try and do it quietly though, so if I can get
all
a
right.
sneak check in there.
Go ahead and give Give me sneak agility. We'll do that instead. We'll have you following the trail into the hallway. All right, 1 success. Okay. And then go ahead and give me a perception survival. You were a little sneaky.
Oh, no. Remember how this bloody thing works in there? There you go, right.
All right, and you were able to track it. So you're able to see that this smear, the smear that's coming out of the corner of the room, it seems to be about, and I have my rulers already ready so I can give us some actual measurements for once. It seems to be about maybe 10 centimeters wide, about, what would that be, 10 centimeters, about 3.5 inches wide. And it seems to be drag marks. Something was dragging itself or being dragged out of the corner of this room down into the hallway. And Sean, you're able, my ruler, you're able to see these drag marks go all the way to the stairs, then start going down the stairs. You also notice while you are looking that you do not see or hear Gianni.
Turn around to the others. Where's the trader?
Minsky, go ahead and roll me a intelligence perception check. Or sorry, intelligence and what do we do for that? What is memory? How do we remember stuff? Let's do intelligence survival. Let's see if you can remember it that way. Intelligence survival. All right. You remember you were actually not sleeping. You were kind of hovering in the corner of the adjacent room, so you were next door. But you heard somebody's footsteps about 20 or 30 minutes earlier, kind of walking out of the upstairs and going down the stairs. You were in a closed room, but you assumed that it was probably Gianni.
I believe I heard him go downstairs, possibly outside.
Well, that seems like a bad idea to do by yourself, but all right.
How well do you know him?
Well enough that he wouldn't go outside without a reason. But I don't know his middle name. Not that well.
Fun fact I actually learned after moving here. I have a stupidly long Chinese name, but in Chinese there are no middle names. They have first name and last name.
As I was saying, I was like, I don't think that's a thing. So of course I wouldn't know it.
Exactly.
But an American stranded in China would totally say that.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
You don't like me.
I will wave, I guess, Val and Camacho over to follow the trail down.
So you are still being sneaky. If our two others want to go ahead and make a sneak roll, you guys can do that. All right, so Val, you are also a little sneaky. Camacho, you gonna go stealth?
Yeah.
All right. All right, Camacho attempts to go stealth, but as she's walking out of the room, her boots are just kind of thumping down on the ground. Have you put on the security armor yet, or no?
It's on.
Okay. So as Camacho's coming out, this new security armor, it's a little bit bulkier than she's used to, and so just kind of making a little bit more noise. Not as stealthy as Val or as Sean. And I see on here, what else are we doing? We're going out to the hallway. Are you coming with them, Minsky? Or are you going to stay on that side?
No, I'd follow along.
Okay. I don't know how stealthy or sneaky a flying robot could be, but you could try rolling a stealth check as well.
That was sort of part of the reason Sean only mentioned to the other time. I mean, yeah, 100% to you, but it's just...
Yeah, there's a rocket attached to him.
Yeah.
Maybe he can
clacking away with pain.
Clamp down on the rocket, make it quieter. I have no idea. And hello, Brando. Happy to see you in here. See, we got a -2 to the next roll, so you can actually take that if you would like. We've got that in our box now.
Probably wouldn't be the worst idea.
Okay, so we'll take that -2 from DM Brando. Thank you very much. Just popping by for a minute. Oh, thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Actually, so that saves your butt. You got a 7 there. 7 -2 is a 5, so you've got it. DM Brando just made a Mr. Handy stealthy. So we've got a quiet mode Mr. Handy. We've got Val, and we've got Sean coming out nice and quiet. We got Camacho thumping out in her new fancy armor. But a lot of you are out in the hallway now, and you can see these drag marks go straight down the stairs. And as you guys head down the stairs and down to the bottom floor, you can see that the drag marks seem to be a little bit more spread out now. Instead of being about 10 centimeters wide, they're now about 15, so it's kind of expanded a little bit. And you can see as they are dragging further and further, they are heading straight for that front door and out of the building.
Could I think in our last session, you mentioned that the trail looked like the black goo that we had experienced before. Am I making that up?
It looked kind of like the that black residue that was left over on your guys' pliers when you tried yanking out the
right
metallic bits.
Could I look at it again to see if it's the same stuff?
Yeah, go ahead and do that. Perception survival. Or if you want to, you can try and do an intelligence medicine check. See if you might be able to recognize if it's the same gross stuff you dealt with before.
Well, survival never seems to work out for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and do.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
There you go. Yeah. All right, you got one success. Yes, what it looks like is this looks like a not exactly like the stuff you had dealt before. Now that you have a closer look, when you had dealt with the metal thing sticking out of that guy earlier, it was covered in a mixture of like fresh blood, and it was also dealing with a little bit of the blood rain that you guys had, and it also had that black residue from the material itself. This seems to be that really kind of gross thickness that you find from like coagulated blood, fully coagulated blood, combined with that black smeary substance.
Val points that out to everybody else. He's like bending down and he's rubbing his fingers in it, and he holds it up. He's like, "Y'all remember that boy that we took the spike out of and it exploded into the black stuff? This is a lot like that." Mostly the same, but it's a little different. We should probably find Jianyu.
And quickly.
All right. Yeah, go
And
ahead.
hey, maybe don't touch that.
Yeah, Bell immediately is like,
I dipped my fingers in it. No.
Yeah, I guess he tries to like wipe it off on something.
All right. What are you
Sean
guys
is
gonna do?
taking point here. Yeah, Sean is taking point here, so he'll move out into keep following the trail, I guess.
So marching orders. Who's going to be? Sean's going to be point. Who's going to be behind Sean?
I think Val is going to be last.
Bring up the middle.
Okay. Do you want to be in front of or behind Minsky? Camacho.
I'll be in front of Minsky.
Okay. Cool. So the lot of you are heading out, following that trail. You're heading outside, and Jianyu, what I'd like you to do right now is please give me a perception survival check. You're sitting outside, kind of a little bit further out from that door, and you're sitting out there on the end of that cement kind of stoop, looking out at this beautiful sunrise coming up over the edge of the lake and the mountains. It's quite a sight. Let's see if you can distract yourself from that or not. Yes. So as you're sitting there and enjoying this beautiful sight, you can hear a quiet. I think the best word for it would be a squelching noise. Sounds kind of like if you had a wet, like a wet bag of like, I don't know, wet ingredients when you guys are putting together something, and you can hear it coming up, pretty much right behind where you're at. You can hear this squelch, and then you hear a little, and then the squelch again, then another squelch coming up directly behind you. What are you gonna do? Oh, mute gods are now officially happy. You are muted. Can't hear you. All right, battery gods are happy, not the mute gods. As much as I love wireless, sometimes they drive me nuts. Give them 1 second to get it ready. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, you could.
All right, my earbuds didn't want to broadcast for some reason.
No worries.
Gotta appease the gods. Yeah, so I'll definitely be turning around when I hear that.
All right,
Terrible.
so that terrifying, disgusting noise coming from behind you. You turn around, and I'm going to quietly remind our wonderful audience. In the previous night, you guys had found some food there. You guys had found some goods there. You found the guy who shot himself in the head. You found some stuff that you were foraging outside. You found some dandy boy apples, sugar bombs, and even some squirrel bits that had been left behind. When you turn around, what you see on the ground is the remainder of that squirrel that those bits had originally come from. And you can see that this thing is heavily mutated, covered in small pustules, leaking this coagulated blood and goop behind it. And it seems to be with its eyes completely whited over. It seems to be kind of pulling itself over towards you, since its back legs were what were used for those delicious squirrel bits that were consumed the previous night.
That's pretty, ew.
What are you gonna do?
So I feel like, I mean, I don't want to let it just go away.
Well,
How
it seems
fast is
to
it
be,
moving?
It's moving pretty slowly. It's moving maybe about its body length. Probably about maybe 30-ish centimeters. It's moving about 30-ish centimeters per round. It's got its two little front paws that kind of drag it forward, and then two little paws to drag it forward. But it's coming directly towards you. It's not trying to move past.
And I can see the black goopish stuff that we saw before kind of oozing out of it.
Yeah, it's not oozing out of it, but it's kind of getting dragged behind it. So as it's coming about, it's smearing it on the ground.
All right. Well, yeah, probably shouldn't touch it, but I want to look at it more. I think I'm gonna pull out my lead pipe and give it a whack.
All right. So you you reach down after seeing it, moving kind of slowly. You pull out that lead pipe. So it's going to be your minor action to draw. Your major action is to give this thing a nice little whack. So go ahead and roll me your. Let's see, melee weapons, strength and melee. Roll me strength and melee, please.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can give this little bugger a whack.
I have neither strength nor melee. This isn't going to go well. You know, I'm going to drop a luck point, and I'm going to use luck instead of strength.
Okay.
So I can actually land this thing. Well, hopefully. Ah, 2 successes.
Right. So, yeah, 2 successes. You kind of back up this lead pipe. You lean over a little bit, and then just whack, and you smack it down on the top of this thing's head. Let's see, for our lead pipe, how much damage does that give out?
I got 1 damage on it.
All right. So go ahead and roll me 1 combat dice, please.
Well, no, I rolled 1 damage. It has 3 dice.
Oh, okay, there we go. All right, so you got 1 damage. So you bring down that lead pipe on the top of this thing's head, and you can see that its head flattens underneath the lead pipe. And as you pull it back, you can see that there's some of that black goop on there. The lot of you see Jianyu standing outside. He's standing there, finally standing up. He's got that lead pipe in hand. You can see that creature's head is crushed against the pavement outside. So what are you guys gonna do? We're all together now at this point. We still have the cow chilling outside, or sorry, not cow, the Brahmin Dynamo chilling outside.
Can we tell that the trail leads up to the squirrel?
Yes, you can see it literally coming from the end of it as you guys are looking out that front door.
Okay.
Not like any squirrel I've seen.
Good morning. What are you doing?
Today I will be celebrating Humia's birthday.
With a pipe?
Well, I mean, if they will just come up behind me, and I mean, I would have to hit it. It's pretty foul creature. I wouldn't want to leave it crawling around in pain.
I think Val turns back to everybody else and says, we should probably look for a couple more.
As you say that, I just rolled a 3, so that was 3 interactions. Jianyu, you can see that the squirrel whose head you flattened against the pavement, its 2 paws start slapping again and pulling itself towards you again as it starts moving. And it gets a little bit closer to you.
I just shoot it. The moment it starts moving, I just quick draw and shoot it. Well, I already have my pistol out.
All right, go ahead and give me your, let's see, ranged weapons, small guns, agility, small guns, please. All right, 2 successes, roll me your damage. Holy shit! All right, what is your effect on the pistol?
One effect.
So we got two 14s, which are
the
both
only-
successes. We got 2 effects
the
and 2
only-
damage.
The only qualities on it are close quarters, reliable, and suppressed.
Okay. So it was a very, very silent round that came out of your gun. It sounds like somebody just went as a round exits the end of your chamber and just kind of embeds itself into this thing. And John, it's right in front of you. It's less than a meter away. You just see this thing splat right in front of you, and some of the black goop comes out, and it stops moving.
I'm hoping that works. And I draw closer to it, sort of, and as I'm moving towards it, sort of kneeling further and further down to just look at it.
All right, roll me.
And I'm watching for any movement.
All right, roll me a. You can either do a perception survival or perception medicine.
Yeah, it's fine, right.
All right, success. This thing looks dead. It looks very much so dead. Its skull is caved in. Its back legs have been literally peeled off. There's no muscle left on it. That's definitely used for protein food earlier. And there's now a large bullet hole through its back.
Yeah, I don't think that's coming back again. Have you ever seen anything like it before?
No.
Never.
And I think Val looks at his hand with like the residue of like what is basically the squirrel on his fingers, and he's like,
As you are shaking it off of your hand, you are standing right there staring at this thing, Sean, and you see its 2 little paws again and pull itself again closer towards Jianyu. Jianyu, this thing is now just about at your foot.
Oh god.
oh, yeah, quit while you're ahead, little man. Jesus.
I'm just gonna back away from it. And
Sean's first instinct would, now that he's a little closer, would be to just try and just run up, take a short run up to it and just hoof it. Just kick it into the distance.
You want to yeet this thing?
Like a football, yeah.
All right. I will totally allow that. I love it. Okay. Let's see. I'll take that as a agility throwing with your foot. So go ahead and roll me agility throwing. As Gianni, you kind of take a step backwards, and you see Sean, his internal footballer, coming out as he runs up to this thing and whack! He smacks it right in the ass.
Can I use unarmed instead if I'm kicking it?
Yeah, I'll let you do unarmed. Let's see. Does he get the hit? He whacks this thing right in the ass, and it yeets right up into the air. Go ahead and roll me a 1d2, please.
I always forget the console commands to this. It's R
backslash roll 1d2. All right. You kick this thing, and it goes about 10 meters straight out. And you can see this thing just kind of splat right into the dirt right down the road. And it is not.
Yeah, I think that should be far enough. Why didn't it try and... It looked like it was coming straight for you. And he looks towards you and you.
I would have no idea why it would come from me.
I mean, because we were all asleep upstairs.
Yeah.
And it came all the way down here and all the way out here to...
Somebody want to roll me a straight intelligence check?
Oh, I'm smart as hell. Can we just roll intelligence?
I don't know. Maybe you can just roll 1d20 and then tell me what your intelligence is?
Okay.
Just 120?
Yep. Val has no idea. He's super smart. Sean, what's your intelligence?
No. 5. So no.
Minsky! Minsky has an idea. He reckons that there was a chance that since Jianyu was sleeping inside of the room where this thing had been dragging out of, when he got up while everybody else was still sleeping, this thing noticed him and followed him out of the building.
Oh. Huh.
So that's what Minsky
Still-
says.
Doesn't really explain why.
That's his guess.
Just bloody disturbing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna glance over in the direction it was kicked, just to see if it's moved at all.
Wonderful. You see its two little paws pulling itself as it drags itself another 10 meters on the gravel. It is slowly making its way back towards you guys.
Is there... I'm going to just quickly nip back into the house. I want to find, like... just a couple of, like a box of some kind. And then something heavy to weigh it down with. Yeah, I think you can see what I'm getting at. And I'll just put the box over the top of it and just like put a big heavy like vase. I don't know, whatever's inside. Seems to be the way to deal with this thing.
Yeah. Sorry. Very, very frequently when you go to businesses in Taiwan, we actually have tons and tons and tons of these big ceramic pots that we fill up with soil or water, and then we plant stuff into it. You see that there are a couple out there in the front that are filled with just dead soil, a dead plant. You can grab one, empty it out, and they're pretty heavy. It's full ceramic. They're pretty hefty, probably about maybe like 3 or 4 kilos a piece.
Yeah, I do that. Walk quite calmly over to the squirrel and turn the pot upside down and just pop.
All right. You pop that container down on top. And as you pop it down on top, you can hear, after a moment or two, you hear some scratching from the inside. Scratching of nails on the inside of this worn out ceramics.
Does anyone have any paper?
What are you going to dispose this thing like a spider or something?
No. Just leave a note on it saying do not
Oh.
turn over.
I thought you were gonna light it on fire and put it underneath and burn it out.
Ah.
Oh
Well,
my God.
that'd be clever. He's only got 5 intelligence. Asking too much.
All 3 of you have little slips of paper.
I need my little slip of paper.
Yeah, so do I. I'm not getting rid of that.
It'll be all right if we just leave it like this.
Yeah.
Right?
John just like takes a seat next to the pot, like
You know what?
rests his arm on top of the pot.
Can I use a use of my survival kit for a piece of paper?
You totally could. Yeah, don't forget,
All
guys,
right,
you have
I'll do
survival
that.
kits.
I'll hand you a piece of paper.
All right. Yeah, so
There you go, Sean.
make sure to subtract 1 use from it.
Yep. I'm down to
Just
3.
writing it. Do not open. Or do not turn over, like in capital letters. Sort of like the double doors in the hospital in that very first episode of The Walking Dead. You had dead inside. Do not open. Put it on thing.
Don't dead
Sean's-
open inside.
Yeah.
Don't
And
swirl
to-
open inside.
Sean's just going to have a little think to himself without giving too much away here, GM. The black stuff now, and having seen what it can do, any bells rang from my past life at all? Never seen anything like it. Okay.
You haven't seen anything specifically like this before, but you have your suspicions.
Okay.
So I'm quite interested in the black gunk. Before you had described it as oily ferrous material.
Mm-hmm.
So Jianyu is going to kind of go inside, and I'm going to start rummaging around. And I'd like to spend a luck to find some sort of speaker, working or not, earbud, speaker to TV, something of that nature.
Yeah, you rummage around. Go ahead and subtract a luck point. For those of you who are in our audience, this is one of my absolutely favorite rules out of the core rulebook. This is the introducing a lucky thing into our world. It's called Luck of the Draw. Introduce a lucky fact or lucky detail, and you are able to successfully find a speaker, one of those old speakers that you kind of have mounted in the corner, a little PA system. That had been used before for like the morning bell of like doo 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 doo. And
Nice.
Vampire
So
Bites is screaming at all of you right now in chat.
Burn it.
Burn it, yeah. Probably should. But I'm going to whip out my multi-tool, and I'm going to remove the magnet from the speaker.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go over to the trail, and I'm going to test and see if it's really ferrous, if it's magnetic.
So as you hold the whatchamacallit, the magnet over the trail as you're walking, you can kind of see this goop kind of like bubble up as the magnet is passing by.
Nice. All right.
You were
All
the
right, so
smartest kid in your class, weren't you?
It is ferrous.
Bueller.
I want to get a good look at this and try to see if I can figure anything out with maybe science or something like that. Can I roll to see if I can identify anything interesting about it, or
intelligent science? Go ahead and roll.
all right, cool.
And while you are doing this, Sean, as you're sitting there, you can hear from the inside of the pot the scratching is getting a little bit more aggressive, and you can feel the pot just go underneath as you're sitting next to it. You can feel it getting hit over by this thing's mass.
I go find another pot that still has the dirt in it and place that dirt-filled pot on top of the existing pot.
All right. No problem. And Jianyu, with your fancy science goggles, Mr. Steampunk Science Man, you're able to get up nice and close, and you're able to tell that this is a ferrous, oily, sticky liquid.
All right, so nothing new.
Nothing new.
Right. Okay, but the magnetic black ooze gunk blood animates
adjectives.
dead creatures.
I Apparently.
Like, I'm not the only one that's kind of fucked up about that, right? Like the boy didn't have legs, and then Sean shot him, and then that didn't work, which I don't really understand.
We live in a world where someone decided it was a good idea to create the atomic bomb. I mean,
What's up?
So what are you guys gonna do?
I think we
Before
can do
Vampire
really.
starts
Just,
yelling at you again.
Let's just leave it and continue on our day.
we don't run into anything bigger that's been affected.
Yeah, I'd really hate to see a dog full of the metallic blood ooze gunk stuff.
Yeah, I will not like it. If you see that.
I vote ooze. I vote the ooze.
Good idea, vampire bites. We'll
Yeah.
kill somebody and see if it reanimates.
They could also just be vampires, you know. I mean, that is canon in Fallout 3. So there are vampires.
Well,
Hmm.
they are cannibals that only drink. I just played it. They are cannibals that only drink blood and pretend to be vampires.
I
That's
mean,
kind of their whole thing.
They call themselves vampires. So
Oh, fair. Okay. Okay.
and they are drinking blood without literally dying. So I mean, there's something fancy behind that.
I always get that quest done early because you get a shish kebab out of it.
Yeah. Oh my god. So to get back on track, sorry. So yeah, you guys have already kind of raided this area. We've got a planter pot on top of this thing, and as it's slamming off inside of it, there's trails walking from the inside to the outside, splat marks on the ground. But the rest of your surroundings seem to be pretty problem free. So let's take a moment right now and roll for our weather for today. And today's weather looks to be a forecast of, dear God Almighty, you see some very heavy rain clouds rolling in from the east to west, from over east towards the west, towards the mountains. You see some pretty heavy green-looking clouds heading on. So
What
do you guys
does
do?
green clouds mean?
Green clouds could be any kind of crazy ass storm. It could be acid rain, probably not blood rain. Could be a rad storm, could be a thunderstorm, could be rain showers. But you know, it's probably going to drop something in there.
Is there a check that I could make to determine how long it's going to be before the clouds get here?
A survival check. Go ahead and roll me intelligence survival.
Perfect.
Got to do something to entertain the vampire before he starts murdering PCs.
Damn.
You have no idea how long it's going to be?
When we surveyed the result, was there, buildings wise, is there like a large complex there
Where again?
somewhere in at the result, that at our destination?
So
Like,
just
where
at the
trying to get to.
at your specific
there-
area where you guys are at with the homestay and the cargo containers, that's it in that area. You already passed what looked to be kind of a collapsed structure. You guys checked in there already. It was formerly a convenience store. And then over towards the resort, of course, there's buildings. This used to be a impromptu settlement where yourself and actually all yourself, Camacho, and Val, all three of you had lived in that area before, so you know the area generally. There are buildings still standing, most likely, but you don't see that smoke coming up anymore in the distance. But you know what direction to go.
Okay, good.
I want to try what Val did.
Head
Go
for the
ahead.
resort. Yeah, head for the resort and get inside before the rain falls.
Camacho has a success. Camacho, you're estimating that it will take probably about an hour-ish for that rain to start hitting you guys. It's coming up pretty fast. But you know, since you are from this area in the past, when you're heading down the road, there's a couple of different stops that you guys could make before you get into the main city itself. But to get into the main settlement itself, it would take you probably about 45 minutes. And there are a couple of stops you could make on the way.
Okay,
Well, that sounds all right.
If we move fast, we can take shelter.
Okay.
And so that's what you're
Well, I
Shall
say
we?
we do it. Let's get moving.
Yeah, let's do it. To the road.
Yeah.
All right. The lot of you get yourselves ready, and you start heading down the road. I'm assuming you go back and grab your stuff from the rooms, but you start heading down the road. We've got Dynamo coming along and supporting up in the back. Oh.
I need to attempt to milk Dynamo.
All right. This is going to be eating up some of that time for an hour you guys have left. But go ahead and let's see. What was the roll for that again?
It's agility survival, I believe.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
But I mean, anybody who's had a animal that you have to milk, you don't get to tell them now. Like, one success. So I believe that's 1 unit of milk.
Endurance survival test with a difficulty of 0. This yields 1 portion. Yeah, so you've got.
It's endurance survival?
Oh, that's for butchery.
I thought it was. Yeah, no, it's in the equipment section, actually.
Oh.
Agility survival, difficulty 1. Success means Brahmin produce 1 Brahmin milk, plus 1 extra for each AP spent, maximum of 5.
So you got a success. So
All
you've got
right.
1 container of Brahmin milk. We don't have any.
Do we want? We don't have any AP.
Nope. Resets new session.
All right. Cool. Then I got 1 Brahmin milk.
All right. So this took you about 10 minutes to get all set up, get Dynamo over, set down the bucket, start as that off yellow, delicious Brahmin milk comes out nice and warm. You now have a
Lovely Brahmin nog.
Yes, Brahmin nog. There we go. You have 1 container filled of Brahmin nog, and you guys have approximately 30 minutes until that rain is overhead.
Well, we should probably book it to the first shelter then,
Yeah.
and we'll see what
Agreed.
it's like when we get there.
Okay. Are you guys going to be walking, or are you going to be running?
Is there an in between to
Somewhere
that?
in between.
Yeah.
I believe Captain Holt called it power walking.
Yeah, sure.
It is the
A brisk
superior
pace.
mode of transportation. All right, so the lot of you start power walking your way over, and after about 10 minutes, you've made your way down, and you can see that there's a couple of things ahead of you. The first thing, when you look off on your left, you can see this kind of old, worn-out, like driveway heading on up to what looks like a temple up on your left. Ahead of you, you see the road starting to go ahead, and then it curves. And then off to your right, you can see that there is the lake. And the lake itself, you can see that the water seems mostly undisturbed except for the random small waves on it from the wind. So you guys want to continue going ahead and follow the curve? Do you want to go up that ramp to the temple?
Pat, could you show us where we are on the map?
Yes, I can. Yeah, drag this on over. And I can actually expand this up a little bit. So, where you were all previously at was right up here. You are now around this curve. You guys have come down here, and you are right over here in this area. So you're about 20 minutes away from getting to the objective area, and you have a curve with a temple right here, and you have the road that continues going in towards the resort. So do you want to try and take shelter? Do you want to continue on the road? Because
we should probably try to just run up to the temple and wait for the rain to pass and then keep going.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's see. Power walk, yes. Girlfriend popping in there as well to give you guys a -2. Thank you very much, babe. So Sophie in chat will know literally exactly what I am talking about as I share this with you guys, and I will drop in some pictures for all of you when we go on our break. But a lot of you see this driveway heading straight up the side of this hill, and there's a large temple on the top of that hill. And as you walk up, you can see these kind of intricate, beautiful little carvings. Here in Taiwan, what they do is they actually create forms when they build things out of cement. And when they build things with cement, they press those forms into the walls of those structures, and it literally looks like the walls have been carved in. It's pretty cool. But on this, you see this this little kind of like those Shinto shrine little entrances above head. And on the left-hand side, as you're going up this ramp, you can see those intricacies kind of carved into the walkway, and a very, very worn down, weather-beaten ramp, or sorry, not ramp, like handlebar, coming up on the right-hand side. And you guys start heading up this path. So do you want to continue heading up that path and head over towards the temple, or do you guys want to continue back around?
We should shelter in a temple seems somewhat fitting.
Yeah.
Second. I'm asking my girlfriend in chat, what does the temple say on the entrance? That little thing that was carved right above, because Jian will be able to read that. But as you guys are heading on up the walkway, you can see all these little carvings. Hilariously, a small blast from your past, it seems that there are little carvings of squirrels and rabbits that adorn the top of this this embossment in the walling, and you can see all of these beautiful, very worn down carvings of like people interacting and couples hugging and stuff. And Jianyu, what I'd like to do right now is please roll me a. There is no culture check, so intelligence speech check. There we go. Cool. The top of the temple you saw in the front, it said Dragon Phoenix, and she's also included the traditional Chinese there for you guys. Thank you very much, babe. I love you.
2 successes.
Perfect. Your memory of this place is that This temple, you've heard about these before. They're pretty famous all over Taiwan. Is that the Dragon Phoenix temples stand for places of love or lovers' temples. These are the places where people would go if they are looking to pursue a loved one, trying to either find one or wishing for their health. But you need to, or sorry, not need to, you do remember that if couples enter the temple together, it is bad luck to the temple itself, or sorry, to the couple themselves. Usually there's misfortune that befalls one.
Is that just romantic couples, or like if two friends or whatever walk in together? Is that a problem?
Friends are
In terms
perfectly
of,
fine.
like-
Yeah. It is a lover's temple. So if you are in
Yeah.
a romantic relationship, this going there together may bring bad luck if both of you enter. But if you go in there by yourself, or if you go there as a single person, you can use it as a way to kind of worship the gods and get together with somebody else. And as Sophie has pointed out, and I'm going to use my memory of Chinese, Dragon Phoenix has to do with the dragons of folklore and the gods, and Phoenix has to do with the rebirth. And so Dragon Phoenix means that you are going to have a rebirth into a new life or new relationship. And that's what those stand for. But there is a large temple at the top, and as you guys are coming up this ramp, she gave me a thumbs up. Yay! I did good. As you guys are coming up, you can see on the very very left side of the of this area, right before this massive wooden entrance, you can see this very worn down, once was previously gilded dragon, flowing Chinese style dragon with its mouth open. And then on the other side of the gate, you see the flowing tail of a Chinese phoenix as it looks like it's flying off into the distance, adorning the two sides of this open gate. So what are you guys going to do? Are you going to enter the gate?
Yeah, is the gate open, slightly open?
There are no doors. It's a gate, so it literally just... Yeah, that's all. There's no doors.
I think Val is going to do a little bit of this to Camacho and Sean Dalton to sneak up ahead. The three of us maybe split up and sneak forward to make sure that there's no surprises.
All right. And I would like all of you, please, give me a perception check. Everybody, so it's going to be a perception survival. As you guys are coming up.
Will this be relying on sight?
On sight, yes. So it'll be minus 1 dB for you. So if you get any successes, that will be an automatic success. All right, so we got 1 success from Jianyu. Good. Camacho, 1 success. Sean, you have no idea. You actually have a critical failure on there. Minsky, you have 1 success, which actually nets our group. They're your first piece of AP. And Val, you have no idea what's happening. So what I'm going to do is on our Discord, I'm going to drop in a couple of pictures for you guys from my trip over to Sun Moon Lake a couple of weekends ago. And we will be back, ladies and gentlemen, and we will share what do they see at the top of this ramp at the entrance of this temple as they look around and also as they turn around with a nice open view of Sun Moon Lake Bay. We'll be right back. All right, I'm going to leave the mics hot in case you guys want to chat with anybody in our audience. Big shout out to my girlfriend. Thank you again, babe, for helping me remember. And we have a couple of +2s. Don't forget, you can interact with our players, dropping in critical successes and all of that jazz if you would like, or even a doom or a boon. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Something just occurred to me. I may have made a terrible mistake.
What do you mean?
If this fluid works like a sort of zombie thing, I did bury the body in the graveyard back at our settlement.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, we're gonna have to deal
That'll be
with
a
a
nice
zombie when we get back. Oh fuck. They might have to make a point of carrying sources of fire around with us.
Maybe I should have gone with that flamethrower attachment.
Like the remake of Resident Evil 1, we have to about 1/3 of the way through the game, you've got to make sure you burn the bodies of all the zombies that you kill in the first half, because they come back otherwise and they're worse. They run around and they've got claws.
Yeah, guess who didn't know that?
Yeah, the Crimson Heads, and they just get fuck.
I had to have somebody that hadn't actually played that game tell me about that. I'm like, yeah, I would just happen to be like complaining about it to him, and he's like, yeah, because you have to burn the bodies. I'm like, I thought you said you didn't play it. He's like, I didn't, but I read that one part about the game because they never tell you. That's why they give you the lighter, which makes it was infuriating.
You find a note from that's near, I think, the first place that you get like a gasoline canister to do the refill on the lighter. There's a note that says burn them, otherwise they get back up again. Something like that. So that's the only indication.
I didn't realize that they were going to transform.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you how bad it is. You're right.
Ugh. I played through that game once, and I think it was last year for the first time ever. And I'm like, I'm never doing this again. 12 hours of running around one mansion, and the whole game could have took 2 hours if I just knew where I was going. I know that that's the game, but it's still just like, no, fuck that.
But I still contend it would have to. It would, if you burying someone, however far down, let's say 6 feet for argument's sake, and you're actually not burying them in a coffin, it would have to rain pretty heavily for them to dig themselves out of 6 feet of earth.
Very true.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. I don't think that is a realistic scenario to ever be able to get yourself out. Like if you're buried alive, like that's it. You're done. Like there's no. And then if you put what is a reanimated dead body in there, who has no idea of any concept of anything anymore, but is somehow alive, there's no way. But then again, there's no way for them to come back anyway. So I mean, let's just have a little. We're just gonna have our zombie fun.
I mean, I ran a D&D session once where one of my players polymorphed a frost giant into a caterpillar and then summoned an earth elemental to grab the caterpillar and then just spend however many rounds it was just diving in the earth directly downwards, because earth elementals could just bury through, carrying whatever they've got on them. Just as far down as it could go before the the amount of rounds that the polymorph, and he kept failing the saving throw on the. And I was like, fuck. And he just ended up suffocating the frost giant under the ground rather than having to fight it.
Yep.
I was like, you dickhead. Yep. I had this whole. It wasn't just a normal frost giant. It had this whole mechanic where just standing in it froze the area around it. So just standing in the area, you would take a certain amount of cold damage depending on a Constitution save. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a really cool mechanic. And they just did that straight away. I was like,
and and you were real fucking proud of yourself, weren't you?
Yeah.
You're like, cool. I'm glad I provide this fun for you guys. I put so much work into creating these things that you just somehow
just unceremoniously drowned it. I was like, all right.
So, Earth, what is this, 5e?
Yeah.
Earth. I gotta read the text on the burrow thing, because I would have ruled that.
I was calling it live, and
yeah, I would have said no. As soon as it goes underground, it stays at the top because it's not like a portal. It can't go through it. Their elemental can go through, but the caterpillar can't.
But I mean, like, if you were carrying something you had burrow, we would let you carry your gear through. We wouldn't make a player naked. And a caterpillar's pretty small.
But if we don't rule it this way, we break the game. And we don't want that.
Well, no, because it's also dependent on the continuous amount of save. Like, had he saved when the polymorph ended, I then had contested strength checks with the earth elemental trying to hold the thing underground, and it was trying to tunnel out.
Oh,
but it just lost, like, considering it was a frost giant as well, it just lost like so many of the strength contests. I was like, what the fuck? Because it's huge, and I like had to look up the height of a frost giant, because I was like, how far down is it? Okay, now it's gone from caterpillar to frost giant. How much clearance is it? Is its head to the surface? And I figured out how many feet it was, and then I was like, all right, it's going to be able to dig, half of its. I'm going to rule it as difficult terrain, basically. So it's going to be able to move half of its movement speed towards the surface if it passes the strength check against the earth elemental who's trying to hold it in place. Yeah.
And what were the other characters doing?
Just standing around on the surface. but honestly, they were all so invested in this contest of strength that it kind of did work. To like it engaged them enough. Yeah, I'd have like sped it up and just said, right, this will just decide if I could see their faces getting disinterested. But they were all like leaning in, because it was like a tug of war, basically. It turned into a tug of war. How many feet?
I totally believe that the players were very invested in watching your A+ monster suffocate underground through basically a loophole in the combat that they created.
Motherfuckers, never again.
Yeah, motherfuckers. Every time. I had that same feeling when you were like, Sean Dalton kicks it. I'm like, he didn't think of that. He didn't think of that at all. He never thought that we would just get rid of it.
No,
And here comes crawling back.
I think it's not so much an encounter as it's an obvious warning, isn't it? But yeah.
Yeah.
No, just the image of just punting it over the horizon just made me laugh. So I was like, I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, fuck this.
Yeah. Which actually dictates almost 90% of my actions as a player, depending on how. Like Sean's a little more serious a character than what I usually play. But that's because like on my D&D stream, John, the character of the bard I play, John Vanian's a fucking a schemer to say the least. So, and then Jack on the Cyberpunk campaign is like a total clown. So I was like, I want to do something a bit different for this one. And Capricious said this is grimdark, so I thought I don't want to get too.
Yeah, pretty much every D&D character I end up playing has like some very like decent backstory, and then just ends up being a fucking goon, just the whole time, just a. It's a pain in the ass who won't shut the fuck up.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. You've been serenaded by the wonderful stories of D&D 5e from a couple of our players here. And I just wanted to take a moment to mention, because I didn't get to say it earlier, Raven, I love the background. That is hilarious. Running away from a death claw.
That's pretty good.
So, where we were at is we had a bunch of perception checks to see what are your surroundings in this area. And my players, I mentioned in our chat, I don't know if anybody saw, but if you look on the Discord, the first picture that was submitted on there, posted up on there, is the gate that you guys could originally walk underneath. As you can see, there's no doors, there's nothing there, but up on the top you see the flowing dragon and the phoenix. It's this beautifully ornate, red-painted kind of gate or shrine. And as you walk up towards the top, you see this much larger dragon and the phoenix on the opposite side, stretched out very old-school Chinese style, very weather-beaten, worn down with age. There's no real paint left on this thing, but it was definitely beautiful in its previous life. And as you walk underneath the main gate, that's the third picture that I sent over, you can see these carvings on the pillars on the side, and you can see straight into this major area where they have this very large temple. You can see that there's a shrine up in the front. On the left-hand side, you can tell that there's an area where you can burn ghost money. On the right-hand side, you can see that there's an area where you can toss your... I don't know what they're called. They're a curved piece of wood that's flat on the bottom, and you can toss these out when you ask questions to Buddha or the gods. And then you have directly behind you this balcony that kind of overlooks the whole area. And so for our players, who sees what? Jianyu, you're able to see what direction do you want to check? Do you want to look into the temple or behind you towards Sunmoon Lake?
I'm looking into the temple.
Okay. Camacho, do you want to look into the temple or back behind you to Sunmoon Lake?
I'll look into the temple.
Okay. Minsky.
I'll be looking back at the lake.
All right. So I'm gonna start off with Minsky real quick. Minsky, you can see out onto Sun Moon Lake. You can see this railing from the side of this little balcony area that hangs over that main winding road that you guys took, and you can see out into the lake itself. The water again is very still. You see only a couple of ripples very far away. You can see that some of those previous resort towers are still standing. Some of them have fallen over. There are a few small docks that were left there from pre-war, and they're very heavily ravaged. But since you had a DV1, you have your eye stalks, which takes away that DV, and you've got AP from this check. You can see that there are a couple of small little rowboats out on the lake that are still kind of bobbing and floating there in that still water. You also see, as I mentioned before, that smoke that had been visible before, you no longer see smoke rising from the resort area itself. Now, when we look in towards the temple, the folks that are looking in, we have Camacho and we have Jianyu. Jianyu, you can see that the temple itself, it looks like it's somewhat been ravaged by time. It's been well worn, especially from the crazy weather that Taiwan has gotten since the bombs had fallen. But the shrine that's up in the front is still there, and it looks as if the statues of the gods inside, it looks like they might still be somewhat intact. Camacho, on the other hand, when you look off on the right-hand side where people would cast their pieces of wood to communicate with the gods, you notice what looks to be 3 bodies lying down on the ground. They may have been there when the bombs had fallen. They may have come afterwards, but you see 3 bodies lying there still. So this is what you guys are seeing as you get to this area. What are you guys going to do? Are you going to keep moving? You get to go in.
Well, we have to take shelter, so we have to at least be underneath something.
I'm gonna lead Dynamo up towards the temple and just kind of, I don't know. I'm walking up there, almost not totally aware of everything else that's going on.
All right. So you just kind of go in with your Brahmin.
Just go with my Brahmin, walking like normal. I'm just heading up to I'm gonna head up to the shrine and, light 3 sticks of incense and, just kind of like a normal any day.
All right. Just a reminder for you: this is a temple to the gods of love and companionship. So if you are lighting this, then it would be to communicate with the gods of love and companionship. So you want to continue
yes,
doing
and it's my wife's birthday, so I definitely have somebody important to locate.
Okay. So you start lighting those sticks of incense and start doing your bowing and start placing them in. Camacho, while he's walking past with the Brahmin, you notice, but Sean does not. Sean kind of walks in and he accidentally knocks over one of the standing little shrines, and it kind of hits the ground. And as it hits the ground, Camacho, you notice that the 3 bodies that are on the ground start to stir. They start to move.
I have some ghouls in here. I'm going to draw my pistol.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to grab our little location map. So we have Jianyu and his Brahmin. They would be right over here. We have Camacho, who's coming in behind. We have Dalton, who had knocked something over. We have Val, who's over by Dalton, and Val, who's over by Dalton. And then we have in the opposite direction Minsky, who was trying to check out the lake. And our three bodies that are there, I'm gonna drop in some Nuka-Cola Classic caps. Our three bodies are off to the side, where you can see that the three of them are starting to stir. And you said you pull your pistol. Oh, holy shit, you got a pistol! Badass. Okay, I love it. The biggest bore pistol ever.
It's got a gun.
Camacho's ready for this shit. Do you have a machete too?
It's
Just pause that.
It's not ready.
Oh, okay, damn. All right. I used to have a wonderful machete that I got from Home Depot many, many years ago that, like, if I had a worry inside the house, just grab the machete. We're good to go.
It's actually my very heavy pistol for nomads.
Wonderful. I love it. Props. Yeah, you see those three bodies start stirring. Jianyu, you are none the wiser. You are over at the temple worshiping. What are the rest of you doing?
Guns.
Yeah, the moment she said goals, she'll had his pistol out.
Okay. Minsky, what are you doing? You're over by the railing outside of the gate.
Yeah, after she brings up the ghouls, I'll probably get my buzzsaw at the ready and sort of make my way over towards them.
Okay. All right. So you start heading on in, and by the time you start getting in, you can see that those the three bodies, you hear the as they start kind of standing up, and from their bodies themselves, you can tell that they have been there, lying on that ground for an extremely, extremely long time. Their clothing is totally drained of color, ravaged by the weather. Their skin looks heavily irradiated, greenish, and the three of them look like they had been there when the bombs had gone off, and were probably trying to find themselves some partners. What are you guys going to do? You see them standing up. I already have our initiative, if you guys want to enter initiative.
I mean, they're clearly bad guys, right? There's no...
I don't know.
There's no... We don't diplomacy our way out of this one, right?
Well, yeah, no, the goals.
Go ahead. What you gonna do?
Goals that are just out in the middle of nowhere and haven't made an effort to communicate. Which, I mean, if I was a ghoul, I would definitely be being very verbal all the time to make sure people knew I wasn't feral. Just a quick note.
Yeah.
GM, my initiative's 15 now because my agility went up from 9 to 10.
Okay. Yep. So anybody else change their initiative for agility? Anybody improve that or no?
Yeah, my initiative is 13 because my perception went up 1. It's agility and perception, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm 13.
All right, I will add that on in. All right, so it is going to be Val, Sean, Jianyu, Minsky, Camacho. But Camacho, you're the one who had noticed this, so I'm going to let you take your action first, and then we'll go into our initiative. What are you going to do? You've already drawn your pistol. You see these three standing up.
Torso shot to the closest one.
Right. So you are one range band away, so you should be all right for that. Go ahead and roll your, I think it's agility, small guns.
Yeah, it should be.
Small guns agility. Yep. All right. So you kind of draw your pistol. You look over at them, and you fire what seems to be a warning shot. It misses all three of them. Even if you had attempted to aim at this first one, the round seems to have missed. So we are now in initiative, and the three ghouls have now been quote unquote startled, and they are aware of all of your presence. And Val, you are up first. You see the three of them kind of turn over and look at you. And on page 355 in the core rulebook, that is what you are staring at: this sickly, disgusting green skin, teeth bared. What are you doing, Val?
I think Val is just going to stand his ground and shoot at the first one with his hunting rifle.
All right, so you've got a hunting rifle. They are 2 bands away, so that is good for your distance.
Val always aims for the chest.
Okay.
That doesn't increase the does not increase the difficulty and lets me re-roll the one of the d20s.
Yep, 1d20.
I think.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I'm going to do that.
All right, your difficulty is a 1.
Yeah.
All right, you got 3. So we've got 2 AP that we can add into our party AP. So those are shifted up for you guys. And you fire off that round, and it goes straight into one of the ghouls' chests. Okay, so you're shooting at this first one here. Go ahead and roll your damage. Holy shit.
Nice.
1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4, 5 damage, 4 effects. What effect does your rifle have?
Piercing. So it ignores DR.
All right. So yeah, you you fire a round and it goes through this thing's chest, and you have fucked this thing up pretty bad. So let's put in minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 HP because you have pierced through its armor. All right. Next up in our order, unless you want to move. Do you want to move? Or take a minor action?
No, there's really no minor action that I could take that would be helpful.
All right. And we've got Vampire Bites dropping in a critical injury. So next person who does not get an effect, you will get an additional effect on the weapon. So since you're not moving, Sean, go ahead. What are you going to do?
Shoot at the remaining 2, I think.
All right.
One shot after the other. We've got the action boy perk thing.
Mm-hmm.
So one shot, and then for a second major, it's an AP, if I'm not mistaken. Is it 1 AP?
Second major is 1 AP. Yep.
Yeah. So I'll roll to shoot the first one. Whichever one I'm targeting, the 2 that Val didn't shoot at.
All right. So you're going to shoot at this first one right back here. And since you are 2 distance bands away, that's going to add a DB. So you've got DB2.
Fine. Why is this? D20 is acting the full. 1 second. There you go. Right.
Really small guns. All right. So your first shot goes wild. You can spend your AP for that second round. And shoot the second one.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. You're shooting at this guy right over here. All right, 2. So your round lands. So go ahead and roll your damage. We've got 1 round going through the chest of the first. Second round, we are going to be hitting the chest of the second one. So what damage you doing? All right, so you got an effect, so that's going to be 2 damage on him, and your effect is suppressed, so it is a quiet shot. All right, next up in our order, Jianyu, you hear gunshots going off, or well, 2 gunshots going off. You don't hear the third one going off right behind you as you are there on your bowing. What are you gonna do?
So I'm pretty startled with that. I'm gonna use my minor action. I'm gonna pull out my handgun. I'm kind of fumbling with it and like turn, and I'm probably still on the ground. And I'm gonna take a shot at one of them. I guess this one looks like the closest, best line sight for me.
That is the one that is uninjured. So go ahead and roll. You are one distance band away, so 1d.
All right.
Agility, small guns. All right.
And nothing.
Fire off a shot and it goes wild. You seem to be a little bit too startled. You just barely see them. You just fire off around at them. You have a minor action. Is there anything you want to do?
My minor action is probably pulling my gun.
Okay. Oh yeah. Draw. All right. Minsky, you're coming in. You see these three standing up. You hear 3 gunshots go off. 2 of them are hit. What are you gonna do?
Minsky's probably gonna move a little bit closer to them.
Okay.
And fire off a round from his laser emitter.
All right. Which one are you targeting? The closest one here. Oh, the one on this. Okay, closest one.
Yeah, let's do the closest one.
Okay. Go ahead. And since this is energy weapons, I believe it's a slightly different check.
It's perception energy weapons.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. All right, you fire off an energy blast, and it misses. So you've used your movement, and you've used your major action. Camacho, we are back to you. You see everybody start opening fire on these fools. What are you gonna do?
Same thing.
Still got pistol in hand. You're gonna shoot.
Yep.
All right. Which one are you gonna aim for?
Same one I shot at, but the first time.
Okay, so this one right here. Go ahead and roll.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Modifius, thank you very much for this excellently quick and fast system here. I love it. All right, so we got 2, and that's a tag skill, so that's going to be +1 AP for our party. Go ahead and roll your damage. By the way, Raven, your video is frozen.
Give me a second.
No worries. And we also have another -2 in our chat.
Hold on.
There we go. All right, so we've got in our damage. Do you have an effect on your pistol or no?
No.
All right. So you fire off a round. Since this is a critical hit, you shoot him in the right arm, and its right arm, as it's kind of reaching out towards you guys, its right arm seems to kind of go limp on his side. And you've got a damage off on him, so we are now at -6 health. All right. Do you move?
No. I'm gonna stay put.
All right. So you stay put. This thing's up in the front is looking pretty injured as it's staring you guys down. And Minsky, you can see the 3 of them. You've moved the closest at this point. The 3 of them start moving over towards you. And that front one gets up to you and tries taking a swipe at you. It is attempting to hit you with a unarmed. So let's see. Got my 2d20 right here. I got a 1 critical success, and our damage is 3d6 with a radioactive physical damage, but I believe that you are immune to radiation, correct?
Indeed.
So you take 4 damage as this thing swipes down and its hand gets crammed into your panel. It kind of tears at it. This second one that is actually closer over towards Camacho is going to be moving over towards Camacho. It's going to be taking a swipe at you. What is your DR? What's your defense?
One.
All right. I get 1 success. All right, so 3 damage. 1, 2, and 3. All right, you take 1 damage, 1 radiation damage. And so the way that radiation damage works with our character sheets is that radiation does not directly hurt your health. What it does instead is it reduces your max health by 1.
Well, with my armor, I have 2 radiation resistance.
You
Does
have
that
2 rad
anything to
resistance?
play?
Yeah, if you have radiation resistance, that damage does not come in through to you. Yeah, you've got 2 rad resistance. Lucky, lucky. That thing swipes at you, and it doesn't seem to do much to you, but there is a nice gash on your armor. The third one, I'm going to roll to see who it's going to go after. It's either going to be Camacho or it's going to be the other target of Minsky. So let's see. It's going to come over towards Minsky. So that second one shambles over to you, and it takes a swipe at you. And it misses completely as it swipes at you. So that is our round here. Next up is going to be Val. Val, what are you going to do? You see these things. One of them comes over to Camacho. 2 of them are on Minsky, and one of them almost tears a panel off of Minsky.
I think Val is going to need to protect Minsky. Is one of the ones attacking Minsky one of the ones that I already shot?
Yes, it was the one that you put a round through their chest.
Could I use quick draw to draw the machete, use a minor action to move a square or a space, and then use an attack with the machete?
All right, go ahead and roll your strength melee. And quick draw covers the drawing of the weapon, and your minor action is your movement. Machete.
Come on, baby. Yes.
All right, you got 1 success. Go ahead and roll your damage. All right, 3 damage. Tell us how you kill this thing.
Yeah, so I think between having a soft spot for Minsky's cool head in horribly destructive situations and also knowing that he has to help repair Minsky, he jumps to Minsky's aid and just comes in and does a swift machete uppercut as the ghoul tries to come down with its arm. He slices through its arm and part of its head off, and then it just falls over to the ground dead.
All right, that thing is super dead as you cut part of its head off and it just drops down to the floor. All right, our next up is Sean. Sean, you see him run up and just whack, cut part of this thing's head off. And so this one right up here is dead. There is one that's coming over for Camacho and a second one on Minsky. What are you going to do?
I'll move into the same. Oh no, actually I don't need to because they've moved closer now. Cool. I can do the same as I did before, and this time I don't think I incur penalty because they're closer. So I'll shoot at one, and then what's our AP like? Decent.
So, hold on 1 second. Let me
Does that need to be
scooch this
updated?
over. Whoop. Change. There we go. Yeah, so it's going to be a D1. They're now 1 distance man.
Sweet. Yeah, so I'll shoot at one. Let's spend an AP to shoot at the second one. Love good old action boy. That's the first shot.
First shot's going to be this one here.
Nice.
And you land it in.
Alrighty.
You even generate an AP. Congratulations. So you've got one successful shot. Go ahead and roll to hit on the second. Oh, there we go. We got
I
our
did damage for that one.
1, 2. Then we've got a 3, 4. Silent round comes out. 4 damage comes out.
Cool. Yeah, I
we,
did put it in the chat, but I just because I thought that was strange, and I just looked up because like logistically it wouldn't make any sense. Suppressed isn't a damage effect.
Oh, it just always works. Okay.
It's just always quiet. Yeah.
No
Does that
worries.
make sense? Like the gun is silent before the bullet hits them. So yeah, okay. And second shot.
Second shot's going to be on this guy here. All right, 2 successes. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Nice.
Holy shit! Tell us how you kill this thing.
Nice.
Literally just it's like a quick. It whips the gun up almost quickly. Doesn't give his arm time to like shake and miss the shot. You bring the weapon up quickly and just without thinking, reflexively really, and just double taps them, bam bam.
Awesome,
And they
awesome.
drop one after the other.
Well, one of them's still up. The one over by Camacho is still up.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
you do get the other. So 1 round in one, headshot on the other as the second one drops down to the ground. Gianyu, you see Dalton kind of bam bam take out one of them and injure the other. There's one left that's closest to you and Camacho. What are you going to do?
So I'm gonna kind of take a second, take a breath, aim as a minor action, and then pop off a round.
All right. So you're shooting over.
And
this
if
guy.
you guys are fine with it, I think I might spend 1 action point to get another dice.
All right. Up to them.
We've got a lot right now, right? Like we just got a bunch.
We got
Yeah,
like
4.
4 or something.
Yeah.
All right. So
All right.
Nice.
3 successes. That's 1 AP back. So you fire off your weapon. Go ahead and roll for your pipe gun. Roll your damage.
all right, and I'm gonna drop 2 extra ammo in there for extra damage
Okay.
because I have a fire rate of 2. So that gets me.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 damage. All right. Tell us how you kill this one.
So I take a second, breathe, get my bearings, aim carefully, and then just like kind of 3-round bursts to it, and just kind of center mass, and then afterwards, kind of like, oh, well, it looks like that's over, sort of thing. Because I was a little surprised by this whole event.
Yeah. So you guys took out those 3 ghouls very, very handily. You're out of initiative now, and you can see that the rain is starting to slowly roll in overhead. It looks like it'll be on you all in just a moment, but you have these 3 dead bodies now that are lying down on the ground. These ghouls have been there pre-war. You guys have a couple of choices that you can make. You can try to just go in for shelter right now. You can try looking around the area for any loot. You can rob the bodies of these poor people who were just looking for girlfriends and turned into ghouls. What do you guys want to do?
I think it would be best. I think Val is gonna real quick check the bodies and then get undercover. We can scavenge when it's safer.
Afterwards, yeah. Sean will just go inside and clear. Sort of set about clearing the inside, I suppose.
How about we pile them up and burn the bodies?
We could do that too.
Yeah.
I
you
don't
know.
have a lot of fuel.
Well, hold on a second. So because you've been to temples before, Gianyu at least, inside of the temple proper itself, there's probably a storage of ghost money. It is highly, highly flammable paper that literally it just takes a couple of sparks and the stuff goes up like crazy. And yes, I'm getting very, very weird look from from Logar right now. Yes, it's literally called Ghost Money, and it's hyper flame.
No, I just assumed that like that would be real not okay if like right? Like this is clearly like it's kind of like robbing a wishing well, but worse.
Yep.
Right? Okay. That's all right. I just wanted to make sure that we're always on the same page on
Yeah.
what ghost
that
money.
is-
What? It's money you give to ghosts. No, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a
It's very straightforward.
super bad juju. But
Right.
it's
Just leave it.
propellant.
Okay, so an alternative would be to tie all the bodies together and tie it to a post or something.
Up to you guys. What do you guys want to do?
So they can't like, and just in case they can't come chasing after us again.
I'm
Do we
gonna
see
have all
any,
y'all paranoid today. Yes, Vampire, you've made them very paranoid. We've done this together. Yes.
Is there any indication that maybe they have the same that they are also infected with the ooze?
Mr. Ooze. Go ahead and roll me a perception and a science roll. Or a perception medicine roll. Cough, cough, Minsky, cough, 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 cough. The medical
I'm better
god.
at science.
Take a look as well.
But yes, Vampire Bites, that is the name of the game for me and all of my current and previous players. Is literally it is my job to make all of you paranoid as fuck. That's what I'm here for. Less so much in Nomads. Nomads is more action-packed 80s Mad Max blow shit up, but this is a grimdark setting of horror. So yeah, if you guys aren't somewhat terrified, then I'm not doing the job. All right, so Minsky isn't totally sure.
219s.
But it was a DV1, so it's a 20. So you didn't go into that critical failure band, Minsky. Don't worry. But Val, you don't see any of those metal things sticking out. You don't see any of those little spikes. You don't see any of the black.
Okay.
Other question:
Ghouls.
Are ghoulish bodies radioactive, and like, do we take damage from being near them?
You would take radiation damage if you physically interact with their bodies.
Oh, okay. So like when I touch them to check their pockets.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't want to do that now. Okay.
Well, you would roll, and
wait.
I would find out if you would take radiation damage or not.
Oh, it'll be fine. I mean, I got Brahmin Nog. That heals radiation.
It does?
It
I could
does.
just pill
Yeah.
pockets.
2 points of radiation.
What?
Brahmin milk. It heals 2 points of radiation.
You might want to store the shit out of that. But holy hell, I did not.
Good lord.
That. What? I'm pulling this.
Yeah, I think that's why he's been so adamant about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which kind of makes a lot more sense now.
Page 160.
160. Awesome. Blood, beverage.
It heals one hit point and heals 2 radiation.
Holy shit, it does.
Holy hell! Wow. Wow. Modifius Brahmin milk is so OP.
Seriously. I mean, you turn irradiated water into drinkable milk.
That
Or
is
nog.
pretty impressive. Or nog, yeah. Well, I mean, drinkable is really that's a subjective term. for this.
Relative.
Very
Lots of
relative.
things are drinkable.
Yeah, I mean it is a thick yellow warm fluid. Off yellow, off white.
Tasty.
Delicious.
Get that yellow knob stash. You know.
Soaks all the radiation up, yeah.
Oh my god. All right, I am no longer hungry for breakfast. What are the lot of you all going to do?
Yeah, I'll just start pilfering the pockets. I don't
All right. Okay, go ahead and roll. Give me 1 second. Go ahead and roll me a. Goodness gracious, what is that? Survival. Perception. All right, 2 successes. Cool, cool, cool. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right. So let us see. Ghouls. What is our pilfering? Because you don't want to butcher them, I'm assuming. So let's pilfer. I don't think anybody wants to eat ghoul meat. We don't have the Mad Queen here, so there's no cannibals. Okay. All right. So pop that next page. All right. So inventory. 2 junk items can be found on the bottom, which can be salvaged. All right. So you find 2 combat dice worth of junk items. So let's see how many junk. You find 3 pieces of junk. Rummaging around in the first one's pockets. Do you check the second one?
Yeah, why not?
Go ahead and roll again. Perception survival. And then do
Everyone
it
knows
again.
ghouls.
Yeah,
Ghouls
they always
always carry like
glue.
1 cap and a lead pencil.
Yeah.
Or like a fork.
Useless.
Yeah.
I imagine Minsky like reaching into his pocket and pulling out just like a long metal ruler that clearly could not fit in there, but that's like, yeah, he had junk on him. I don't know.
All right, Minsky, you find another piece of salvage. Sorry, another piece of junk. Go ahead and roll one more time. An unrealistically long ruler, and as you finally pull it out, it turns out it's a tape measure. It rolls back up on your hand. All right, that is it. So you find a grand total of 4 pieces of junk on them. You can keep those. You can give them to Jianyu.
If you don't want them, I'll take them.
Sure, have at it.
Excellent.
You might want to dip
This is
them in the
good
milk to
junk
wash
here.
the radiation off.
Oh, should be all right. It should be all right. Once you're done interacting, then yeah, they're
I mean, this is good junk. You don't find a ruler this long every day.
Okay. Sorry, my brain went elsewhere. Oh god. There we go. So, excuse me. What are you guys doing now that you have salvaged those 3 bodies? You got this temple there. You've got the big oh god, what do they even call it? It looks like a huge furnace, like a big cylindrical furnace. That's where they always burn the ghost money. It's got a little door where you throw the ghost money in and smoke comes out of the top. And then you've got this little area where those 3 ghouls were at where you can throw your wood pieces. So big temple, furnace, worshipping area on the side. What are you gonna
Well,
do?
we have to get away from the rain. So whatever has the biggest overhead that can fit us all.
That would be the inside of the temple. Jianyu, well, actually, even Val, you would know this because you knew about the taboo of, stealing ghost money. You know for a fact that entering into a temple's area where they keep all of the gods and the shrines, like under the actual temple area, that is also bad juju. That is pretty bad luck. But this is the apocalypse, and I think only one of the 5 of you is like actively Buddhist or Taoist. So
I think Val would be okay with that juju.
okay, so
It's different. I could explain my way out of it, but yeah, that's just he would. The first one is like stealing something from someone, and the second one is like, well, hey, look, I'm sorry, but we have a thing called blood rain now, so could we just we'll be in here for a little bit, then we'll go.
It's rainy, guys. Come on.
The world already ended once.
The world did already end. Let me pull this up, and I'm going to send it over on our Discord as well. You guys can see what the interior looks like. It's quite beautiful, I do have to say. Send compressed, yes. So for those of you who are chilling out in our audience and may be curious as to what the heck I am talking about, they are going to the inside of a temple, and I'm going to see if I can actually open this up on my page because I have it on Discord. Open original. There we go. So yeah, this is what the inside of the temple looks like. It's quite beautiful. On the sides of this main table, they have these beautiful collections where they have all these gods and these little shrine forms. Up in the front, you have these tables where a lot of the actual temple people and the monks they would go to. And all the way in the back, this is the thing you always have to kind of keep in mind is that going all the way into that back space would, according to Taoism and Buddhism, that would actually get you like actively cursed by the gods if you disrespected their space.
So are the three like statues in the background there, are they three gods? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they are the three gods of the temple, and they are the ones that represent the relationships and love, trying to unite people. And it seems as if the three people outside that had come here to worship in the first place, they didn't really luck out, I guess, because the bombs fell while they were there. So yeah, who knows? But as you
now they found each other in eternity, so.
I mean,
so would it be bad or to enter into like the closer part where I'm seeing in your picture rather than all the way the back, or is it bad juju all the way and the back's just worse? Or
so
trying to get an idea of
it's not the best idea to enter the whole area period unless you've been granted permission. And it is off limits in Taoism to get into that space all the way back. So you can go inside, as long as you don't disrespect the space. You should be okay according to your belief system.
all right. Then I'll lead Dynamo in there, but we're going to kind of keep our distance from the main altar there at the very back. And
So
I think out of
Brahmin.
Yeah, I'm going to lead him in just inside. We want like some shelter, but not.
All right, roll me 1d2, please. And I'm going to call it even right now. All right. Yeah, you walk the promenade. Does a lot of you as well enter the area?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
All right. Now, you guys have a couple of choices. You can just hunker down and chill out in the area. You can try looting and scavenging in the area. What do you want to do?
Yeah, Sean's going to look around for anything useful.
All right. Go ahead and roll me a perception survival.
Okay.
I'll do the same thing.
All right.
This is like the big area that it's not okay to be in, right? That's where we are.
It's not okay to disrespect, yes.
Oh, okay.
1 second. I am rolling on here until I get to a temple. My goodness gracious. I just keep rolling and rolling. Where is it? Temple? Give me temple. Public park, industrial warehouse, outcropping, grocery store, clinic, farm, garage, gymnasium. Come on, everything but a temple. Oh my goodness. Wow, a power plant. That would be nice right now. All right, I'm just going to open up the code and break it out of the code. All right, so you are looking for a temple. So let's see, public and temple. All right, cool. So our rolls, what did we get? So Sean, you've got 1 success, and go ahead and roll your perception and survival as well, Camacho, because you said you wanted to scavenge around the area. All right, 1 success as well. Okay, so for our public area, what do we have? Let's roll on here for a table. Wow, my brain. Okay. All right, so do we have clothing? Yes, so you find some clothing that was left over inside of the area. What you find is you see an old army helmet that is left on top of one of the little tables there, Sean. So you find that army helmet that's chilling up there.
Okay, I'll bag that.
And Camacho got 1 success as well. You are actually able to find some food inside of this place that was left down as an offering at one point in time. What you find is a noodle cup. So you find a noodle cup that's still sealed pre-war. Pretty rare to find those intact. And so the two of you are able to scavenge those inside the temple. Is there anybody else that wanted to scavenge inside of this temple?
Yeah, Val will take a look around and now I think especially now that Camacho has found like a cup of noodles sealed pre-war, Val's like,
Okay. Go ahead and roll perception survival.
Your stomach always wins out, doesn't it, pal?
We still have some +2s in chat, so if you do get no successes, we can use that. All right, so you got a success. You are able to hunt down while you're looking around. You're able to find as Sean's looking over in this area, and he finds this army helmet. You actually see as he's picking it up, he doesn't even notice himself. You see that there were a couple of rounds of ammunition that were sitting there. And you find a small box of 38 rounds, 8 bullets of 38.
damn. Okay.
That's pretty good haul for Fallout Asia, getting 8 bullets.
I know. It's funny to like be upset about it, like knowing like that's so many bullets. But you know, I need to stay stocked on the 308 ammo, which is not great to come by.
All right. So Minsky, are you doing anything?
I suppose as long as he sees everyone else doing it, he'll take a look around.
All right, go ahead. All right. And you have a 7. We could use a couple of +2 since they're stacked up and get you 1 success. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, why not?
All right. So we'll use up our +2. So let me pull that up real quick. A thank you goes out to. Wait, those are -2s. Vampire, did you mean to give them -2s or +2s?
We have to roll under.
Under, right. Oh my god. Okay, my brain. Okay, so we'll take those from Vampire. So thank you very much, Vampire. And another one comes from my girlfriend. All right, cool. So you are able to find. Let's pull up our loot table. You're able to find in the back. There's a there's a vending machine that had been left in the back that had been probably used and stocked up by the people that work there, the temple people that live there. And you're able to. Oh wait, hold on. Vending machine. Where's my vending machine? There it is. You're able to find 3 empty glass bottles. It looks as if they were all consumed. Jianyu, do you want to scavenge inside of a temple?
No, Xianyu is going to go around and kind of clean up the temple. Any of the little statues that have been knocked over and things like that. Brush leaves off the table and the chairs and kind of just tidy up around the area. I feel like I need to earn my keep under here while we're waiting out.
That sounds like a very smart idea. Go ahead and roll me a endurance survival check.
Endurance survival. All right.
He's more superstitious. Yes, he is.
Certainly is.
All
Nice.
right. So that is 1 AP. This is the tail end of our session, but I'll still copy that over. You're able to clean the area up, right a couple of things that had fallen over. You're able to get some of the ghost money that had been spread out, blown around on the floor. You're able to kind of stack that back up and put it back where it's supposed to be. You're able to rearrange the incense sticks, and you guys spend quite a bit of time while you're looking around while he's cleaning everything up. And as you all are doing this, you can hear the pitter-patter of rain outside as the rain starts to come down, and you can hear the quiet sizzle of the rain as it drops down on the ghouls that were left out there. You're able to smell that acrid smell that all of you have experienced before, and it is definitely acid rain that's coming down outside in a light shower. The acid rain that is coming down outside, I'm just going to let you all know, because this is going to be the issue that we are dealing with next time around, is that the acid rain will cause 2 poison damage for every 10 minutes spent outside. So, you guys are luckily undercover. Now, as all of you are kind of looking around, you're all focusing on your stuff, trying to discover things. Jianyu, you're cleaning things up, you're organizing, you're kind of trying to take care of this area, and what you notice is that on the ground there seems to be poop, animal poop. But this animal poop is not the kind of size that you would expect. It's pretty large animal poop, a large pile of animal poop. You clean it up and kind of brush it off to the side, and then you see another pile of this dried animal poop elsewhere as you are cleaning up. And it's this kind of grayish, whitish, dried out. Looks like at one point it was liquid poop that was on the ground. And it finally starts occurring to you that something may have been living inside of here. So go ahead and give me a perception check.
Perception survival?
Yes, please.
Perception survival. We're close to the end of the session. I'm thinking I should spend some AP.
Go for it.
What do we have?
You have 5 AP.
5. Should I do 1 and get 3 dice, or should I do 3 AP and get 4 dice?
Go for broke. It's our last roll, right?
Do 3, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably you. Do it. And I am definitely going to re-roll that complication with a piece of luck.
All right. Please remember that you
Oh,
won't be
that's
restoring that luck until you sleep again. So.
Yeah, I know. But I do not want that. 3 successes.
Yeah. Yes. So you get AP back, but it's the end of the session. So. Luckily, you did decide to re-roll that 20 because as you're sweeping around and as you're cleaning up, you start looking around and you notice that this poop looks similar to something you had seen a lot when you were a kid. And that's what they call these adorable little geckos that they call wall dragons here in Taiwan. Wall dragons are these adorable little chirping geckos. They're about this big. They crawl around, and they're really, really popular here in Taiwan because they will eat mosquitoes, they eat cockroaches, they eat ants. So it's actually a sign of good luck if you have a wall dragon inside your house. And they have these adorable little chirps. But what you notice as you are cleaning up is that these piles of poop are not these little tiny splats that wall geckos leave behind. These are piles of poop around this large. And you're sweeping this up, and you just kind of slowly look up as you start thinking to yourself, and you see amidst all of the wonderful carvings and embossments that they have on the roof and internal ceiling of this building, there is a wall dragon up there. Not the size of the normal little gecko wall dragons, but the size of the one outside of the main gate. This thing is roughly about 15 meters long, curled around the designs up on the ceiling. And it seems to still be quietly sitting there, staring at the 5 of you moving around. And that's where we're going to be ending our session, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go to the temple. Get out of the rain.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine, they said. Let's get out of the rain, they said. Let's scavenge inside of a temple, they said.
Listen.
Yeah, so that's our session, folks. I am super happy to be back, and I have some absolutely wonderful news to share with all of you. First and foremost, tomorrow we of course have our Cyberpunk Goes Nomad. Session will be at the exact same time on the exact same Bat channel here on Cyber Nation Uncensored for Twitch. And the wonderful news, little drum roll, next week I will be done grading my finals before the weekend rolls around, and so we will have our sessions for both Fallout and for Cyberpunk on the 21st and 22nd of this January. So we are done with our breaks and hiatuses. We are back on the roll. We are going to be on the 21st and 22nd. We'll be here for the 28th and 29th. We will be here all through February because I'm also on vacation. Yeah. So yes, we have a bunch of upcoming sessions. We have an interesting fight ahead of us, and we also have our wonderful Cyberpunk Nomad to look forward to tomorrow evening. So, with that being shared with all of you, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to let our players outro themselves, and then we will see all of you later. So let's start off with Stink Palm. Go for it.
Yeah, it was a great session. I'm Tracy. You can catch me at StinkPalm007, Twitter, Twitch, Discord, etc. I had a lot of fun with this session, and yeah, can't wait till the next one. I mean, we got a giant lizard to deal with. That'll be a blast. So yeah, thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you. Logar, go for it.
Hey, my name's Logar the Ogre. You can find me at twitch.tv/Logar the Ogre, Twitter Logar the Ogre, and my Instagram Twig and Logar. Every Sunday I run a Starfinder campaign. Most Sundays, 7 o'clock EST. So I'd love for you guys to come check that out.
Awesome. Thank you. Johnny Drop, go for it.
I'm Johnny Drop. You can catch me over on the Cybernation Uncensored Discord with that name. Catch me here every Friday and Saturday. So good to be back to both of these campaigns now. And if you'd like, you can check out my SoundCloud at Arxon.
Awesome. Thank you. Go for it, Raven.
Hey, I'm Raven. I've had the pleasure of playing your Merc Survivor Camacho. You can find me all over the internet under Doña 13 Cuervo. Thank you.
All right, wrap us up, Captain Mark.
Yeah, Captain Mark 87 here on the Discord. You can find me here, Cyberpunk tomorrow, over at twitch.tv/Heroes in Theory on Sundays. And I forgot to mention it earlier, but if you watch other stuff on this channel, you've probably seen some of the games with some of the Roll to Cast guys. Ellen in particular. Ellen is they've got a slight overlap with our Cyberpunk game tomorrow, so watch one and VOD the other, whichever one. Ellen is guesting over at Heroes in Theory tomorrow, and they're doing a all barred one shot, and she'll be on there. So do check that out when you get the time, and come check us out playing Cyberpunk tomorrow as well.
That sounds like an absolute blast, and I can definitely see Ellen jumping in as all Bard cast. Ladies and gentlemen, I am GM Capricious Nature. I've been our overseer for today, and I will be our game master for tomorrow. I hope all of you have enjoyed the session, gotten a little bit of an interesting taste of Taiwanese culture and funness, as well as finally figuring out what God's name was that black smear. So next week, we're going to find out what's going on with this giant wall dragon that's not on a wall. It seems to be planted in on a ceiling. And then hopefully we will see what's going on over in Sun Lake. Folks, I will see all of you tomorrow for Nomads, and I will see all of you next week for Fallout Asia. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.
Cybernation.